Hello everyone, Michael Neff here, Director of Gears Golf, and I'm going to do a short video on troubleshooting and club deformation. You know, kind of like what can, when the club doesn't look quite right, or you know, something's happened to the club, how do you kind of recover from that, or what could be causing that, what to look for. So again, we gave you a video on where to put these markers and how to put them and how to orient them. If these are in a perfect triangle or an isosceles triangle, basically motion capture doesn't like that. And so they really need to be oblong or off center from each other. We can't have the distance be the same between these three markers here. This is probably not where I would put this club, but it works fine. I usually spread them out a little bit farther so it's not so distracting on the club. I'd rather have the markers kind of on the edge of the club than more kind of in the middle. But this club was put here just fine. But you can get club deformation, and what that means is basically occlusion of the markers, or the markers get so close to each other and they kind of get on top of each other, if for lack of a better word, and they don't really know what to do. So the club can sometimes look like a pretzel, or it kind of like goes out of deformation or something like that. So that's the first thing you should look for. If the club doesn't look like it should, the first thing you want to check is make sure that the markers are not equal distance from each other. The other thing you might want to mark, the markers themselves can be damaged, so you might want to need to replace the markers themselves. But in this case, these are not in a perfect triangle. The other thing that would cause the deformation of a club, you see here that I'm covering up the markers, and you can see that the club is not moving. Well, even though I'm moving it, the club, the avatar itself is not moving. So what's happening is I'm occluding the markers. So again, in Gears, the system needs to know that the system knows where the markers are. They have to be in the right position, and they have to be able to be seen. But if I block them, then they're not going to be seen. If I unblock them, hey, I'm golden here. You know, that thing's tracking great. So the main thing that causes deformation of the club is to have the markers in a perfect triangle. They need to be separated from each other. They can't be too close to each other. They can't be a perfect triangle. The other reason that you would get deformation of a club is if it's not tracking properly, or for some reason the system's out of calibration, or the club itself is out of calibration, meaning that it's possible that somebody would have moved this marker and you don't really notice it, and so there's only two here, and you swing and all of a sudden something really weird looking at the bottom. Again, you know, it's looking for the markers that are supposed to be there. If one of them's missing, you're going to have deformation, and the tracking's not going to be good. As long as these markers are where you put them and you calibrate the club properly, you can take that data to the bank. So don't occlude or block the markers, and make sure that they're not in a perfect triangle or isosceles triangle. And that should cover any of your deformation issues. If you have any other questions about that, you can call 1-855-GEARS now, and our people will be able to help you out with that, any questions that you might have there. Thank you very much.